Okay, some autofocus lock came on or something. Notice the splice fitting here. Okay, they went down to 84 lumber and bought these and put them in. And there's one on the other side. They stuck these in. These pieces, and this is, of course, my conclusion in hindsight. These pieces were not cut right. They did not fit right, and I discovered sometime thereafter that they leaked like a sieve, just as if there was no water, no pipe there at all. And in fact, when all this came down, at least one of those was disconnected. I mean, completely disconnected. And I asked them specifically if that was okay, and they said, oh, we're going to fix that before we do the backfill. I did not see them do the backfill. I didn't watch them do it, so I have absolutely no idea what these guys actually did, whether they addressed, but I suspect that they didn't, that they simply just tossed the earth back into the hole and figured that nothing was ever going to happen. Well, they were dead wrong. They did not do this backfill properly, because it was exactly at these 4 sites, 1, 2, 3, 4, where the holes first punched through, and that was from water. They just came right through, and it was just a matter of a few weeks later, well, we had the big slide that started at this side and then progressively got worse until it came over into this corner. So that's my note, and that's my testament. And I do swear that that is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. There's just another, notice how that came down. See, there's still a gap there. Hopefully that next column that I put in will close that up and get, because if you notice that there is a gap underneath that last floor joist and the sill. You see, whereas there's no gap on the rest of them. They're sitting squarely. That's not a big one. It might be 1/8 of an inch, but 1/8 of an inch is 1/8 of an inch too much. So this is what they're doing. These are the seemingly phony baloney explanations, and they were trying to make this all out as my fault. And I don't see how this was my fault. How did this wall stand with no big leaks, no big water? There was little trickles when it would rain, small trickles, but it never compromised the integrity of the wall. There was no movement at all, absolutely none, and it stood like that for, it was over 2 years. And John from Marco said, well, that could change at any moment. We've seen these things that have gone in a matter of days, and we've seen them last for, I don't know what he said, 5 or 10 years or 15 years or something. He gave a large, it was pretty large. I think it was more than 5. I think it was like 10 or 15 years or 20 years or whatever, and they never move. Well, that might be the case, but I find it ever so suspicious, the coincidence, perhaps a little too coincidental, that this would stand perfectly stable for 2.5 years, and then the moment they come and they do their work cutting out the gutters, or cutting out the drainage, not the gutter, but the drainage, and then putting it back together in a way that while it looked shoddy to me, they assured me was correct, all of a sudden, a few weeks later, things come down. Things start to come down. 4 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4 holes in a place that, I mean, this clay was like concrete. It was ridiculous. It was so hard to cut. I can't even begin to tell you. And the water just took it right out. There was no water in large amounts coming into this ground prior to them doing work. And there was afterwards. So, I'll let the engineers draw their conclusions based on that. But that is how it happened. And I don't think that it is just for them to just leave me hanging here. This would have been done if it hadn't been for this collapse, for this giant gaping hole. This would have been done. Okay, that's it for now.